misjudged that. But welcome to today's video. Today is going to be a full day of eating at Refeed calories. Now, as discussed in the last vlog, I'm running extremely flat, so we're just going to increase carbohydrates to make me feel a little bit full again. We will define what a refeed is, why we refeed, and all that good stuff in just a second. First of all, we need to take our health supplements, or health supplementes, because we are the bane of health. So we need to take our bits. Also, I'm sincerely sorry for another full day of eating. I know YouTube is absolutely bombarded by the same video. However, I feel this one's got some education to it, so we will run with it. So, firstly, what is a refeed? Now, a refeed is a day or 2 days at maintenance or just above maintenance calories to improve gym performance and to replenish muscle glycogen, both of which help your psyche. Now, to go from a deficit to maintenance, that block of calories is mainly prioritizing carbohydrates. So let's just say, for example, you diet on 2,000 calories. If you go to 2,500 to 2,700 calories, that block of calories is gonna be from carbohydrates. Basically, you're gonna get a 500 to 700 calorie hit of carbs. Who is the refeed for? A refeed is for anyone who is dieting for a prolonged period of time. Now, we're not just talking about people in a mini cut. You probably don't need a refeed in a mini cut. But people who are dieting for maybe longer than 8 weeks could benefit highly from a refeed. How? How do we refeed? Again, as established, you're in a deficit, just plug in 500 to 700 calories and make that block of calories from carbs. Very simple, very easy. And you can do this for 1 or 2 days, depending on your look the day after. Why? Why refeed? Now, there's maybe 3 reasons why we would refeed. And again, I can link them all back to the psyche. But number 1 is gonna be you're running very, very flat. So in order to get out of that, we would replenish muscle glycogen via a refeed. Again, prioritizing carbohydrates. Now, worth noting that going flat or running flat in a fat loss phase isn't necessarily a bad thing. In fact, in nearly all cases, it's likely a good thing. If you're running flat, you've run out of muscle glycogen, which means you're burning fat, which is good. But if you run flat for too long, your gym performance is going to diminish, your general feeling is just going to diminish, again, your psyche is going to diminish, so we can then refeed to get that back to baseline. Number 2 is going to be to help with gym performance. If you see your gym performance diminish and then all of a sudden you fill back up with glycogen and then all of a sudden you see trainer performance increase, that's going to help your psyche, that's going to help mentally. Also, when you are fuller, you're a lot more vascular, etc. So again, you're just helping your psyche. And number 3, which is mainly the reason why I'm doing it. Technically, I'm doing it because I'm running flat as well. So technically, I'm doing it for this reason and I'm running flat. But this reason is to slow down your rate of loss. So right now, I'm at a rate of loss of 1%. We just want to bring that back a touch. And instead of adding calories on each and every single day, we're just going to have 1 day per week of increased calories to, again, just taper back that rate of loss. So in that aspect, is really nothing magic because my weekly calories are dictating my rate of loss. And again, I can just have 1 day of increased food and help with this. Also, with the people that are saying that you can run refeeds too often, they themselves cannot take the refeeds because they've just rushed their prep. They're having to get too aggressive in the prep. They basically didn't give themselves enough time. If they gave themselves more time, they can take more of a gradual approach and include refeeds. But they didn't, and they started too fat. So, But in any case, that's why I'm refeeding today. So, that walk kind of killed me. So number one thing that I'm gonna do for this refeed is just make sure things are very static, so I know what food works. So I don't want to be kind of playing with extra calories with foods that I know just doesn't digest very well. I just want foods that I know can digest well, so we can kind of predict what's gonna be the outcome. We know that it absorbs very well. We know that my training performance is very good with the foods that I've got in, so we're just gonna keep it exactly the same. So for meal number one, we do have the trusty 20 grams of protein. I actually had this on the way back from the walk. I was just a little bit hungry. And we also have your boy Squares bar, which is a little bit expensive. You can literally just get 4 for £1, but your boy got one for 60p and got mugged off. But that is basically meal uno, which is one. For meal, it's a weird angle, isn't it? One sec. That's better. For meal number two, we have, and we're not gonna be lazy and get a pre-bought protein shake. We're just gonna have the shake, and then we have the Squares bar. I'm gonna have 120 milliliters of milk with this and the Squares bar. But basically, my first two meals are this on its own, and then this on its own. I wouldn't traditionally have the Squares bars. However, I know that I get on with the Squares bars, so they are in. Any carbohydrate for me, rice-based, like Cocoa Pops, like actual rice, sits very well on your boy's stomach. So that's what we're gonna go with. So what we're gonna do is have a big bolus of carbohydrates pre-workout and post-workout, but basically, yeah, meals 1 and 2 are very, very static. Now, there is a real big reason why I don't necessarily like a lot of food in the morning, and I think I've explained this in a formal vlog, but basically, if I have like a ton of food, let's just say for example, I had like 3 Squares bars and like 2 scoops of protein, etc, etc. If I have that very early on in the morning when I've got to do a lot of work, so typically at like between 7 and about 1 o'clock, my workload is heavy. So I don't want to have like a lot of carbohydrates or a lot of food in the morning because I just get very brain foggy. I just can't think very well. And that's not giving the best service to my clients. Even when editing, I'm not giving the best kind of vlog, right? Even when speaking, I just mumble all my words. So basically I just push everything back and then everything seems to be okay. And also from a digestion standpoint, if I eat a lot of carbohydrates or a lot of food in the morning, my digestion just goes, I was gonna say down the shitter, but that's a little bit too literal, but it's not very good. So basically I just push everything back and then everything is fine. So for today, right now I'm hitting 50 grams of protein overall, 72 grams of carbohydrates and 12 fat, which leaves me with 38 grams of fat left. It leaves me with around 300 to 400 grams of carbohydrates, depending on how far I want to take this refeed. I'm just gonna base that on look. I think I'm gonna land like 3.2 to 3.3. That's 1,000 by the way. And then I've got around 150 grams of protein left, but I'm gonna enjoy this. You know your boy's a sucker for the Squares bar. When editing this, I forgot that I had, or didn't film meal 3. And meal 3 was barbecue chicken with microwavable rice, which I'm pretty sure if you've watched a full day of eating, I basically have every pre-workout. But I forgot to film it because evidently I was quite hungry, but I basically had this an hour and a half pre-workout, and the macros for that meal were 85.2 grams of carbs, 10.4 grams of fat, and 55.6 grams of protein. And then we trained.
Time to run it all. I wake up. Yeah. I wake up. Flex. Thumb down now. Check. No drip. This. Wet. Time to run it all. No sleep. No rest. Might crash. Might wreck. But first I stretch. Time to run it all. I wake up. Flex. Thumb down now. Check. No drip. This. Wet. Time to run it all. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it. 9 out of 10 roll through my hands. I'm by my lonely.
I feel so fucked. So incredibly tired. I I didn't plan for the house move to be this fatiguing, and with the dieting phase on top of that, it's just a little bit. On a really cool note, however, my goal for 2021 was obviously to move house. That was number one priority. Number two priority was to move into part-time with my full-time engineering job. So basically I'm doing online coaching full-time now, and I am doing engineering part-time, which again was one of my goals. Well, I had 2 goals in 2021, and it's May, so I'm gonna have to set some more goals. But yeah, it's very, I might not sound excited, but it's been a very long-term plan for that to happen, and to say that I'm in a position that I can do that is just like, pardon my French, but fucking incredible. Like, really fucking incredible. And it also opens up more coaching slots as well, which is great because I want to help as many people as possible, and them extra few days or off, quote unquote, to concentrate on my coaching, I can basically just take on more clients and help more people, which is just incredible. But anyway, I'm sorry for being spiely and pouring out my heart for YouTube, but we're in for meal number 4. Yeah, meal number 4, and this is where the majority of my carbs are going to be. Meals 4 and 5, because again, I love to backload carbohydrates, and we're at the backload stage, and I'm so hungry. And that session killed me. Did I say that session killed me? That session killed me. On the really plus side, however, I did take some physique shots when I was at the gym, and things are looking good. We need a new cooker seal. I just noticed that. For any of my people in America, I would like to do me a solid, right? I want you to buy this, and this. And then I'll send you the money with some extra. I just need it in the UK, because we can't get this in the UK. But I would absolutely love to try this and this. If you're in America and would like to do me a solid favour, holler at your boy, because I will legit send you some money. Okay, so for meal 4 we have sweet chili, we have the salade, and we have rice. Again, keeping with the theme of keeping things very, very static. This is a very typical meal, isn't it, Natalie? It's a very typical meal within dieting. But the macros for this meal are 53 grams of protein, 9 grams of fat, and 125 grams of carbohydrates. I am literally salivating, so I'm going to eat right now, but that's meal 4. In this final meal we have a lot of calories, a lot of carbohydrates mainly. So in this big bowl of stuff, we have the Cocoa Pops, we have the Ghost with the milk, and we have some dark chocolate. Oh, I just realised there's some foil in it. Don't want to be eating that. And we also have the trusty Squares bar. Now, in the refeed, one adjustment that you might have to make, and one adjustment that I made, is basically I'm just going to keep my fibre fairly low, or at least on par with my reduced calories, so my deficit calories. If I keep everything in exactly the same, my fibre is going to be sky high, which means I'm going to be kind of distended. My stomach's just going to be a little bit bloated, so I'm just going to keep fibre in and around where I have it in a fat loss phase or in a deficit calories. But to conclude today's macros, this all equates to 185.2 grams of carbs, 27 grams of fat, and 43.1 grams of protein, which puts us at around like the 3,250 mark, which is pretty good, because I said at the start of the day that I was going to be like 3.2 to 3.3. I'm going to see how this looks and then make the decision whether or not to have something very small just to push me over, maybe to like the 3.4 mark, but we'll see. It will be very interesting to see how I look tomorrow morning. So it's the morning after the refeed, and basically I'm just going to show you the different looks throughout yesterday and this morning. So basically you can just have a gauge of what the refeed actually did. So on screen now is when I woke up, so upon wake yesterday, with no calories, no food, no water, nothing. This was kind of how my physique looked the majority of the time. Obviously it's a little bit dehydrated because I've just woken up, but this is basically how my physique looks normally. And then we had quite a bit of carbohydrates, and then we trained, and these are actually photos of what my physique looked like then. Now it is under gym lighting, so excuse that. It obviously doesn't show a like-for-like representation, but you kind of get the idea that something's happening. And then these are actually photos of how my physique looks right now. So I actually just trained, believe it or not, and this is how my physique looks currently. So you can tell the difference between yesterday morning and this morning. It's a lot more full. Now again, different lighting, but you kind of get the idea. Now when I'm extremely lean, the difference will be even more noticeable. I'm not actually that lean yet, so you will see some difference, but just not a massive difference. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the vlog. I hope you understand what a refeed is, when to refeed, etc, etc. It's not a bad thing. Don't worry, you can refeed. And if you took something away from the vlog, make sure you like, you share, and you subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.